Hey, in today's video, I wanted to talk one of the reasons why when you make decisions, many times those are not that successful or not as successful as you think that they should be. Usually, not making successful decisions or not making decisions that actually help you move forward is very related to the way that you are prioritizing. So today, let's talk about some of the reasons why the way that you prioritize is probably wrong. So today, let's go through one of the cases that you are actually not prioritizing that well, and what are the reasons behind, and potentially how can you fix them. Let's do it. So let's go through some of the situations when you are actually not making the best decisions and you are not probably prioritizing the way that you should. First one that comes to my mind is that you are prioritizing the hottest topic that you have been hearing recently in the offices. You hear somebody asking for a new feature, that they are asking for something new in the product or try something new. And this is just, like a relatively hot topic recently, and maybe in the last couple of weeks you have been hearing about it. You go ahead. This is an important topic. Prioritize it. The second one that comes to my mind is that a customer has told you that this is an important thing. Again, very similar to the previous one, but the fact that a customer tells you that it's important, sometimes it ups the game a little bit more, and it's just like, this is super important. We really had to go and do it. The third one, and again, you could say that it's different sides of the same coin, is that you are listening to the person that is shouting the loudest, the person that goes and is like coming again and again, that this is very, very important. This is very, very important. And they might have different reasons why this is important than the reasons that you should be looking into. Important always to understand the reasons that are behind. The fourth one is that you go ahead and do something just because somebody that has a higher title than you just told you to do so. And I'm not saying that this is not necessarily important, but sometimes you have to understand that you have to take always with a pinch of salt. And again, you have to do your research. You have to investigate if something is important or not. And finally, you have been so focused on building the product, you have been so focused on building this, that great experience for the users. You might even have work with the users, that you have prioritized that so much that you have a great product, but you have no idea how you're going to take it to the market. So you have not prioritized that work to actually build a story that is going to find those users that could take benefit of your product and start using it. They will never find out about it. So these are some of the cases that happens. And I'm not saying that they are always not important. The reality is that what happens very often is that some things might sound like they are very important because it depends on who tells you. But when you start to understand why, it might be that they are not as important in the beginning. It might be that you don't have all the information to understand, or the people that tells you that this is very important, they might not have all the information that you may have, your development team might have, the market understanding they might not have. And this, as a product person, as a director, as somebody that is building, planning products, is very important to understand. So now let's go through some of the reasons why you are actually not prioritizing properly. So the first one is that maybe you lack strategies and vision that are going to help you define where I want to go. If you don't have this vision, if you don't have a strategy, it's very easy that instead of going the direction that you want to go, you end up going the wrong direction. You end up going in the different situation. And this is something that can be linked to what I said earlier. Somebody coming shouting very loud for a new feature that they need, but it doesn't align with your vision. It doesn't align with where your products want to be in the future. So you might be building, let's say, applications for Android. And basically your strategy is saying that all what we are doing is building for Android because that's our expertise, that's our core. But somebody comes and tells you that you had to build this for iOS. So potentially there could be a market, but that might take you in a different direction from where you want to go. And you really had to be critical when making this kind of decision. The second one is not investigating your business case. What is the business case for the product, for the new feature that people are asking for? What is the market opportunity? Are there people that have this problem? Is it just one customer that is shouting very loud, complaining that they need this, but There's no other customers that need this. You have to understand this, and you have to understand, for example, how general this problem is. Some customers might want to change your product to be more like a service that it solves all the needs that they have. Other customers are going to be completely fine by just using products and then, adding customization in different ways. So you have to understand, how does this fit in your picture? And yes, there's going to be situations when, if you're a startup and you have that few customers and one of them is the biggest one, you might have to do and prioritize all the tasks that they're asking you for. That might also happen. And then there's similar situation that is related to the business case, is that you are building features, you are solving problems for certain customers, but you're not doing this for most of your customers. Again, let's say that instead of building just for Android, your apps, you're also building them for iOS. Let's say that, hey, your number of customers in Android is, let's say, 80%, and the number of customers that you have in the iPhone ecosystem is 20%. And you know that it's difficult to make it grow. So if you start prioritizing all the features for the iPhone users, yes, maybe you help them grow, but the reality is that the impact might be very slow, or it might take very long time to actually reach. And maybe your goal is not to have like a 50-50 vision. You have to understand this. You have to understand what is your goal. If you understand that really your cash cow is in the Android business, you probably should be prioritizing features there. If your focus is in growing the iPhone business, maybe you should be building the features there. This, again, links to the strategy, links to understanding the market, links to how you are going to be able to prioritize properly. Another one, again, is that you lack understanding of your customers. You lack understanding of the problems that these customers have and potentially what are the solutions that they are looking for. They might not understand the solutions, obviously. They might not understand how to solve those problems. That's why you are there. If they would know how to solve their problems, they don't need you. Then you don't need to build any products for them. But this is why you have to understand how to build those solutions, but you have to validate those solutions with them. You have to validate those problems with them. You might be building solutions for the wrong problems, or maybe even for the wrong audience. Another one is that you don't look into the data, and very related to not looking into the data is that you are not learning from what's happening. Sometimes you might release a new feature, and the reasons for the feature to fail can be many. It can be sometimes related to the market or to the audience. It might be lack of research. It might be you're solving the wrong problem. It might be that the usability is not great. There are many things that can go wrong. You have to be able to understand this. The data is going to help you. Talking with your customers is going to help you. And then being able to learn from the mistakes that you have made in the past, or the things that have worked, and reinforcing them is what's going to help you to be successful in the future. So how can you fix some of these things, and how can you make sure that you are making better decisions and that you are prioritizing better your work? First, set your strategy, set your vision, understand where you want to be and what are those big obstacles that you had to go through. These are going to define both your vision and your strategy. Next, have a framework and be consistent in the way that you're prioritizing. This is going to at least give you more consistent results when you are understanding the size of the market, the size of the opportunity, the effort that is going to take you to implement such a new feature. Build the data capability within your team, within your company, to make sure that you can make those decisions, that you can understand the behavior. You will be surprised, even nowadays, we are talking so much about AI, about data, about all these things, and we have been talking about them for quite a while. And the availability of data and the quality of the data that you see in most of the companies is really not there. This is something that is very important. It's something that is key. You really have to have people that are analytical and understand data, and that they can use that data to make their decisions. And finally, you have to work with your team. Sometimes you might think that you have all the data and all the information to prioritize something, especially if you're a team manager, if you are a director of product manager, or if you are a CPO. You might have a very good understanding of your whole product suite. And you might have a very good understanding of the market and But there are always going to be areas that there's going to be people that know more than you, which is a good thing, by the way. And you have to work with those people. These people are going to help you prioritize. They are going to help you understand where potentially the effort is going to be, dependencies that you forgot or you, for whatever reason, didn't take into account. It's always going to be important that you work with somebody else. The quality of the work is always going to be so much better. And I think that is something that most of us are overlooking all the time. It's very nice that we all want to do our job and sometimes work in silos, but sometimes collaborative work and sometimes working together in these kind of situations is going to help you much better decisions. So what are the reasons that you think that maybe you are not prioritizing as good as you could the work that you're doing? Please share with us in the comments below and let's learn something new. If you want to know how software companies are using the most popular prioritization frameworks, go check out this video. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. And remember, stay safe.